Testing, testing. Testing, testing. 7 TV still works. Hi. Hi Twitch, hi YouTube. I don't know what YouTube emotes are yet. Hi. There we go. Hello? What? Who? Okay. Hi. Amazing. YouTube emotes are just regular emotes. I think they have like one of the YouTube specific ones that I should see if there's like some sort of plugin or something. I know in theory 7TV and like Frankerface work on YouTube, but I don't I haven't seen how that works on my side. But yeah, welcome. Happy Sunday evening. I hope everyone's had a fantastic weekend. We are back with some chill and easy times. We've got a couple of Graybles. The return of the Graybles. My music is not doing super hot. We'll hope that picks up. Am I plugged in? Yeah, I am. But yeah. And then I've started sketching Large Spinny page 30 of chapter 3. So we'll get a I feel like it's rare that I do like page sketches on stream, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to take a picture. If you can see my camera here, we'll scoot that out of the way for now. But yeah, I hope everyone's been chilling, taking it easy. Have a first few couple of days of January. I hope everyone that is going to be going back to work or school tomorrow is feeling good about it and is feeling well rested from the vacation. I know that's not always a given, so hopefully we can relax and just easily get some stuff done as we head into the next day. But yeah, I've got my tea. We've got a red Graybles. Just cool enough to try now. We love it. And yeah, I mentioned the return of Graybles. So I have an exciting new source. Let me dial it down. Dial down our lo-fi a little bit. Exciting new source of fairy tales. So I'm gonna try and mix it up as much as possible. The website that I'm getting stuff from is Fairy Tales with a Z. And they have a delightful collection of stories from all over the world. They've got you can sort of sort by region, which is really exciting. So the first story I have here is a Finnish folktale This is Mighty Miko, the story of a poor woodsman and a grateful fox. It is credited to Parker Fillmore. And it's about 19 minutes. We'll see. I think I go longer when I read. I tend to have a lot of pauses in my dramatic readings. But yeah, settle in. Get your blankets. Get your tea. We'll do. I'm thinking we're gonna do like 2 to 3 stories. There seem to be more of these ones related to Miko. So we'll see how we feel after 2, and then we can jump into our drawing. So yeah, this is Mighty Miko, the story of a poor woodsman and a grateful fox. There was once an old woodsman and his wife who had an only son named Miko. As the mother lay dying, that's why the woodsman and his wife, neither have been named. Only their son has been named, but the mother's dying already. That's a great start. As the mother lay dying, the young man wept bitterly. "When you are gone, my dear mother," he said, "there will be no one left to think of me." The poor woman comforted him as best she could and said to him, "You will still have your father." he's like, it sounds like Miko doesn't trust his father to think of him. Shortly after the woman's death, the old man too was taken ill. Oh no, it's so over. "No, indeed, I shall be left desolate and alone," Miko thought, as he sat beside his father's bedside and saw him grow weaker and weaker. "My boy," said the old man just before he died, "I have nothing to leave you but the 3 snares with which these many years I have caught wild animals. Those snares now belong to you. When I am dead, go into the woods, and if you find a wild creature caught in any of them, free it gently and bring it home alive." That seems like a wild... Maybe he's like... It's over for you, my son, Miko. I won't be able to feed you anymore, but you need some kind of companion. So like, here's how to get a pet. by catching it in a snare and not killing it and eating it, whatever it is. After his father's death, Miko remembered the snares and went out to the woods to see them. It's 3, so this is great. We love a rule of 3. The first was empty, and also the second, but in the third he found a little red fox. That's nice. We didn't get super into it. It was just like clean 1 sentence rule of 3. I appreciate that. They're like, they put it in there as like it was required by fairy tale law, and they were like, just slip that in the top of the paragraph. Miko carefully lifted the spring that had shut down on one of the fox's feet, and then carried the little creature home in his arms. He shared his supper with it, and when he lay down to sleep, the fox curled up at his feet. That's lovely. That sounds wonderful and exactly what you want if you live in the woods. They lived together some time until they became close friends. Maybe because the fox is so young, the fox was like, yeah, this is where I live now. I feel like the fox would have probably tried to escape at some point, but maybe not. Maybe it was really good supper. Maybe he didn't need his parents to make supper for him after all. Miko's fine. Oh, maybe that's what his dad wanted. He's like, you'll be fine as long as you have like a little friend to take care of. Miko, said the fox one day. Okay, so the fox can talk, which is awesome. Why are you so sad? Because I'm lonely. Pooh, said the fox. That's no way for a young man to talk. You ought to get married, then you wouldn't feel lonely. Okay, yeah, again, the dad's wisdom is really worked out for itself. It's like, find a woodland creature that will, like, get you, that will know what to do with your life. Alright, married, Miko repeated. How can I get married? I can't marry a poor girl because I'm too poor myself, and a rich girl wouldn't marry me. Nonsense, said the fox. You're a fine, well-set-up young man, and you're kind and gentle. What more could a princess ask? Miko laughed to think of a princess wanting him for a husband. I mean what I say, the fox insisted. Take our own princess now. What would you think of marrying her? Miko laughed louder than before. I have heard, he said, that she is the most beautiful princess in the world. Surely not propaganda of what I assume is Finland. Any man would be happy to marry her. Very well, the fox said. If you feel that way about her, then I'll arrange the wedding for you. With that, the little fox actually did trot off to the royal castle and gain an audience with the king. My master sends you greetings, the fox said. And he begs you to loan him your bushel measure. Alright, we're gonna take a brief intermission. I'll be right back. Back. So about that brief intermission. So last we left off, Miko, who is an orphaned young man, he might just be a young man whose parents are dead, and lives with his companion, a talking fox, who he kidnapped from the woods. But the fox seems pretty chill about it, so it's probably fine. The fox is trying to cheer him up and tells him that you should marry the princess of the country that we live in. And the fox went to the royal castle and was able to gain an audience with the king. So this must be a commonplace thing, talking foxes, or perhaps that's how he got the audience, is he's a talking fox, and they were like, right this way. Oh, there we are. My master sends you greetings, the fox said, and begs you to loan him your bushel measure. I'm not sure what a bushel measure is, but maybe we'll find out. My bushel measure, the king repeated in surprise. Who is your master, and why does he want my bushel measure? Shh, the fox whispered, as though he didn't want the courtiers to hear what he was saying. This is just between the fox and the king. Then, slipping up quite close to the king, he murmured in his ear, Surely you have heard of Miko, haven't you? Mighty Miko, he's called. The king had never heard of any Miko who is known as Mighty Miko, but thinking that perhaps he should have heard of him, he shook his head and murmured, Miko, Mighty Miko, oh, to be sure, yes, of course. My master is about to start off on a journey, and he needs a bushel measure for a very particular reason. I understand, the king said, although he didn't understand at all, and he gave orders that the bushel measure, which they used in the storeroom of the castle, be brought in and given to the fox. The fox carried off the measure and hid it in the woods. Then he scurried about to all sorts of little out-of-the-way nooks and crannies where people had hidden their savings, and he dug up a gold piece here and a silver piece there until he had a handful. Then he went back to the woods and stuck the various coins in the cracks of the measure. The next day he returned to the king. My master, Mighty Miko, he said, sends you thanks, O king, for the use of your bushel measure. The king held out his hand, and when the fox gave him the measure, he peeped inside to see if by chance it contained any trace of what had recently been measured. His eyes, of course, at once caught the glint of gold and silver coins lodged in the cracks. Ah, he said, thinking Miko must be a very mighty lord indeed, to be so careless with his wealth. I should like to meet your master. Won't you and he come to visit me? This was what the fox wanted. This is what the fox wanted the king to say, but he pretended to hesitate. That's what I wanted to say, but I also pretended to hesitate. I thank your majesty for the kind invitation, he said, but I fear my master can't accept it just now. He wants to get married soon, and we are about to start off on a long journey to inspect a number of foreign princesses. This made the king all the more anxious to have Miko visit him at once, for he thought that if Miko should see his daughter before he saw those foreign princesses, he might fall in love with her and marry her. So he said to the fox, My dear fellow, you must prevail on your master to make me a visit before he starts out on his travels. You will, won't you? The fox looked this way and that, as if he were too embarrassed to speak. Your Majesty, he said at last, I pray your pardon for my frankness. The truth is, you are not rich enough to entertain my master, and your castle isn't big enough to house the immense retinue that always attends him. The king, who by this time was frantic to see Miko, lost his head completely. My dear fox, he said, I'll give you anything in the world if you prevail upon your master to visit me at once. Couldn't you suggest him to travel with a modest retinue this time? The fox shook his head. No, his rule is either to travel with a great retinue or to go on foot disguised as a poor woodsman, attended only by me. Couldn't you prevail on him to come to me disguised as a poor woodsman? The king begged. Once he was here, I could place gorgeous clothes at his disposal. But the fox still shook his head. I fear your majesty's wardrobe doesn't contain the kind of clothes my master is accustomed to. I assure you, I've got some very good clothes, the king said. Is this going to be a fashion show? Come along this minute and we'll go through them, and I'm sure you'll find some that your master would wear. So they went to a room, which was like a big wardrobe with hundreds and hundreds of hooks upon, which were hung hundreds of coats and breeches and embroidered shirts, all of the kinds of clothing. Socks? Does he perhaps have socks? Kingly socks. They probably wore tights in fairy tale times. The king ordered his attendants to bring the costumes down. Oh, they are costumes, alright, one by one, and place them before the fox. I feel like they would be so much better if he would just give the fox a fashion show. And they began with the plainer clothes. Good enough for most people, the fox said, but not for my master. Then they took down garments of a finer grade. Is this going to be another rule of 3? I'm afraid you're going to all this trouble for nothing, the fox said. Frankly now, don't you realize that my master couldn't possibly put on any of these things? Except for the fact that he dresses as a poor woodsman. The king, who had hoped to keep for his own use the most gorgeous clothes of all, now ordered these to be shown. The third. The fox looked at them sideways, sniffed them critically. Well, if the king hadn't worn them yet, they'd probably just smell like fabric and other closet things. But hopefully not mothballs. Well, perhaps my master would consent to wear these for a few days. They are not what he is accustomed to wear, but I will say this for him, he is not proud. The king was overjoyed. Very well, my dear fox. I'll have the guest chambers put in readiness for your master's visit, and I'll have all these, my finest clothes, laid out for him. You won't disappoint me, will you? I'll do my best, the fox promised. With that, he bade the king a civil good day, and ran home to Miko. The next day, as the princess was peeping out of an upper window of the castle, she saw a young woodsman accompanied by a fox. He was a fine, stalwart youth, and the princess, who knew from the presence of the fox that he must be Miko, gave a long sigh, and confided to her serving maid, I think I could fall in love with a young man if he really were only a woodsman. Okay, well that's great. We've sort of ended up in an Aladdin situation, except just by fox trickery rather than magic, which is quite excellent. Maybe the fox is supernaturally. It's more likely that it's just in the nature of kings to be very gullible. But later, when the princess saw Miko arrayed in her father's finest clothes, which looked so well on Miko that no one even recognized them as the king's, she lost her heart completely, and when Miko was presented to her, she blushed and trembled, just as any ordinary girl might before a handsome young man. All the court was equally delighted with Miko. The ladies went to ecstasies over his modest manners. Everyone really loves modest manners here in Foxland. His fine figure and the gorgeousness of his clothes, and the old graybeard counselors, nodding their heads in approval, said to each other, "Nothing of the coxcomb about this young fellow. In spite of his great wealth, see how politely he listens to us when he talk." The next day the fox went privately to the king and said, "My master is a man of few words and quick judgment. He bids me to tell you that your daughter, the princess, pleases him mightily, and that with your approval he will make his addresses to her at once. The king was greatly agitated and began, "My dear fox," but the fox interrupted him to say, "Think the matter over carefully and give me your decision tomorrow." So the king consulted with the princess and with his counselors, and in a short time the marriage was arranged, and the wedding ceremony was actually performed. Okay. Well, that was fast. I thought there was going to be like some other thing that the fox had. I thought the tomorrow part was going to result in more trickery, but it was just like he actually just needed more time. "Didn't I tell you?" the fox said when he and Miko were alone after the wedding. I hope the fox was like the best man. I hope. Also, the wedding happened and no one no one other than the fox showed up for Miko. So I don't know what's up. Maybe they were too dazzled by him and his what did they call it? His mild manners. His modest manners. The modesty of a simple woodsman. It was too much for them. They're too busy moaning in ecstasy over his simplicity. Yes, so the fox... Didn't I tell you, said the fox, when he and Miko were alone after the wedding? Yes, Miko acknowledged. You did promise that I should marry the princess. But tell me now that I'm married, what do I do? I can't live here forever with my wife. Put your mind at rest, the fox said. I've thought of everything. Just do as I tell you, and you'll have nothing to regret. Tonight, say to the king, it is now only fitting that you should visit me and see for yourself the sort of castle over which your daughter is hereafter to be mistress. When Miko said this to the king was overjoyed, for now that the marriage had actually taken place, he was wondering whether he hadn't perhaps been a little hasty. Miko's words reassured him, and he eagerly accepted the invitation. On the morrow, the fox said to Miko, Now I'll run ahead and get things ready for you. But where are you going? Miko said, frightened at the thought of being deserted by his little friend. The fox drew Miko aside and whispered softly, A few days' march from here, there's a very gorgeous castle belonging to a wicked old dragon, who's known as the Worm. I think the Worm's castle would just about suit you. I'm sure it would, said Miko. But how are we to get it away from the Worm? Trust me, the fox said. All you need to do is this. Lead the king and his courtiers along the main highway until about noon tomorrow you reach a crossroads. Turn there to the left and go straight on until you see the tower of the Worm's castle. If you meet any men by the wayside, shepherds or the like, ask them whose men they are and show no surprise at their answer. So now, dear master, farewell until we meet again at your beautiful castle. The little fox trotted off at a smart pace, and Miko and the princess and the king, attended by the whole court, followed in a more leisurely fashion. I feel like the king probably knows, and the court probably knows about the dragon. The little fox, when he had left the main highway at the crossroads, soon met 10 woodsmen with axes over their shoulders. They were all dressed in blue smocks of the same cut. Good day, the fox said politely. Whose men are you? Our master is known as the Worm, the woodsman told him. Oh, so the dragon isn't just like a dragon. This dragon is like the official owner. I don't know about this, you guys. This feels like, I feel like the Worm should get to keep his castle, and the fox is gonna steal it. My poor lads, the fox said, shaking his head sadly. What's the matter? The woodsman asked. For a few moments, the fox pretended to be too overcome with emotion to speak. Oh, Then he said, "My poor lads, don't you know that the king is coming with a great force to destroy the worm and all his people?" The woodsmen were simple fellows, and this news threw them into great consternation. "Is there no way for us to escape?" they asked. The fox put his paw to his head and thought. "Well," he said at last, "there is one way you might escape, and that is by telling everyone who asks you that you are the mighty Miko's men. But if you value your lives, never again say that your master is the worm." "We are mighty Miko's men," the woodsman at once began repeating over and over. "We are mighty Miko's men." A little farther on the road, the fox met 20 grooms dressed in the same blue smocks, who were tending 100 beautiful horses. The fox talked to the 20 grooms as he had talked to the woodsman, and before he left them, they too were shouting, "We are mighty Miko's men." What's the third going to be? Next, the fox came to a huge flock of 1,000 sheep, tended by 30 shepherds. I'm liking all the math of how many grooms per horses and how many... I wonder if these numbers are important. Same, the worm's blue smocks. The dragon has coordinated outfits. They said nothing about the king having coordinated outfits, so I don't know what that's about. He stopped and talked to them until he had them roaring out, "We are mighty Miko's men." Okay, so that's 3. Then the fox trotted on until he reached the castle of the worm. He found the worm himself inside, lolling lazily about. He was a huge dragon, and had been a great warrior in his day. In fact, his castle and his lands, and his servants, and his possessions had all been won in battle. But now, for many years, no one had cared to fight him, and he had grown fat and lazy. "Good day," the fox said, pretending to be very breathless and frightened. "You're the worm, aren't you?" "Yes," said the dragon boastfully, "I am the great worm." The fox pretended to grow more agitated. "My poor fellow, I am sorry for you. But of course none of us can expect to live forever. Well, I must hurry along. I thought I would just stop and say goodbye." Made uneasy by the fox's words, the worm cried out, "Oh, wait just a minute. What's the matter?" The fox was already at the door, but at the worm's entreaty he paused and said over his shoulder, "Why, my poor fellow, you surely know, don't you, that the king with a great force is coming to destroy you and all your people." "What?" the worm gasped, turning a sickly green with fright. He knew he was fat and helpless, and could never again fight as in the years gone by. "Don't go just yet," he begged the fox. "When is the king coming?" "He's on the highway now. That's why I must be going. Goodbye." "My dear fox, stay just a moment, and I'll reward you richly. Help me to hide, so that the king won't find me. What about a shed where linen is stored? I could crawl under the linen. And then if you locked the door from the outside, the king could never find me." Very well," the fox agreed, "but we must hurry." So they ran outside to the shed, where the linen was kept, and the worm hid himself under the linen. The fox locked the door, then set fire to the shed. Oh, okay. I guess it was a white dragon? Or a silver dragon? With some sort of, fire weakness. And soon there was nothing left of that wicked old dragon, the worm, but a handful of ashes. The fox now called together the dragon's household and talked them over to Miko as he had the woodsmen and the grooms and the shepherds. Meanwhile, the king and his party were slowly covering the ground over which the fox had sped so quickly. When they came to the 10 woodsmen in blue smocks, the king said, "I wonder whose woodsmen those are." One of his attendants asked the woodsmen, and 10 of them shouted out at the top of their voices, "We are mighty Miko's men." Miko said nothing, and the king and all the court were impressed anew with his modesty. A little farther on, they met the 20 grooms with their 100 prancing horses. Oh, the horses have now started prancing. When the grooms were questioned, they answered with a shout, "We are mighty Miko's men." The fox certainly spoke the truth, the king thought to himself, when he told me of Miko's riches. A little later, the 30 shepherds, when they were questioned, made an answer in a chorus that was deafening to hear. "We are mighty Miko's men." The sight of 1,000 sheep that belonged to his son-in-law made the king feel poor and humble in comparison, and the courtiers whispered among themselves, "For all his simple manner, mighty Miko must be a richer, more powerful lord than the king himself. In fact, it is only a great lord who could indeed be so simple." At last they reached. Where did I get inspire from? I just hallucinated a word. At last they reached the castle from the blue-smocked soldiers came. The castle which from the blue-smocked soldiers that guarded the gateway they knew to be Miko's. Wow, that is a sentence. I know this is translated from Finnish, so it's probably gets a little bit weird at some points. At last they reached the castle which from the blue-smocked soldiers that guarded the gateway they knew to be Miko's. The castle is what they knew to be Miko's, not the gateway. English is weird when you think about it. It's probably all of the modification happens. I feel like there should be a comma in there somewhere. The fox came out to welcome the king's party, and behind him in 2 rows all the household servants. These, at a signal from the fox, cried out in one voice, "We are mighty Miko's men." Then Miko, in the same manner that he would have used in his father's mean little hut in the woods, bade the king and his followers welcome, and they all entered the castle, where they found a great feast already prepared and waiting. The king stayed on for several days, and the more he saw of Miko, the better pleased he was that he had him for a son-in-law. When he was leaving, he said to Miko, "Your castle is much grander than mine, that I hesitate ever asking you back for a visit." But Miko reassured the king by saying earnestly, "My dear father-in-law, when I first entered your castle, I thought it was the most beautiful castle in the world." The king was flattered, and the courtiers whispered among themselves, "How affable of him to say that, when he knows very well how much grander his own castle is." When the king and his followers were safely gone, the little red fox came to Miko and said, "Now, my master, you have no reason to feel sad and lonely. You are..." Wow. All right, fox. "You are lord of the most beautiful castle in the world, and you have a wife, and you have for wife a sweet and lovely princess. You have no longer any need of me, so I am going to bid you farewell." Miko thanked the little fox for all he had done, and the little fox trotted off into the woods. So you see that Miko's poor old father... Ooh, we're going back to the beginning. This is rare for fairy tales. And they're very coherent. Although he had no wealth to leave his son, was really the cause of all Miko's good fortune. For it was he who told Miko in the first place to carry home alive anything he might find and caught in the snares. That's very good. All right. So I'm not certain if these are related, but I grouped them together specifically because they seemed like they might be related. So this next tale is called Miko the Fox, Adventure 1, The Animals Take a Bite. So this is part of a two-part story. So yeah, I'm in the last tale, Miko was the human, and he was helped by a little red fox. But now we've got a title of Miko the Fox. So I'm curious if there is anything that, if this is like, if it's the same fox and now he's calling himself Miko, if it somehow got like, you know, Game of Telephoned and people misunderstood, or if it's just like a different fox altogether, and there are multiple, and Miko is a common name in Finland. It is credited to Parker Fillmore. So, yeah, let's find out. Farmer once dug a pit to trap the animals that had been stealing his grain. By a strange chance, he fell into his own pit and was killed. The ermine found him there. Thought the ermine. That's the farmer himself, isn't it? I better take him before anyone else gets him. So the ermine dragged the farmer's body out of the pit, put it on a sledge, and then after taking a bite, began hauling it away. He said, so the ermine, so this man has been trapped in a, I'm already seeing a similar start, whereas we're starting with hunting traps again, but now the ermite has a nice little farmer snack. Presently, he met the squirrel, who clapped his hands in surprise. God bless you, brother, the squirrel exclaimed. What's that you're hauling behind you? It's the farmer himself, the ermine explained. He fell into the pit that he had digged for us poor forest folk, and serve him right too. Take a bite of him, then come along and help me pull. Very well, the squirrel said. He took a bite of the farmer, and then marched along beside the ermine, helping him to pull the sledge. Presently, they met Jussie, the hare. Jussie looked at them in amazement, his eyes popping out of his head. Mercy me, he cried. What's that you two are hauling? It's the farmer, the ermine explained. He fell into the pit that he had digged for us poor forest folk, and serve him right too. Take a bite of him, Jussie, then come along and help us pull. So Jussie the hare took a bite of the farmer, and then marched along beside the ermine and the squirrel, helping them pull the sledge. Next, they met Miko the fox. Goodness me, Miko said. What's that you three are hauling? The ermine again explained. It's the farmer. He fell into the pit that he had digged for us poor forest folk, and serve him right too. Take a bite of him, Miko, and then come along and help us pull. So Miko the fox took a bite, and then marched along beside the ermine and the squirrel and the hare, helping them to pull the sledge. Oh, I thought Miko would be the last one to arrive, but maybe not. Next, they met Pekka the wolf. Good gracious, Pekka cried. What's that you for hauling? The ermine explained. It's the farmer. He fell into the pit that he had digged for us poor forest folk, and serve him right too. Take a bite of him, Pekka, and help us pull. So we've broken the rule of 3 now. That's kind of exciting. I'm wondering what is up here. We've got ermine, squirrel, and they're all named too, which is cool. In fairy tales, they'll name like 12 animals before they name someone's parents. or like someone's wife or the princess. So Pekka the wolf took a bite, and then marched along beside the ermine, the squirrel, the hare, and the fox, helping them to pull the sledge. I've never seen an ermine at like a zoo or anything like that. But I've seen them on like, you know, like wildlife specials or on Golden Compass. I can't imagine they would have a good time pulling a sledge. I feel like the wolf being here is like the first time that I feel like the sledge would actually be moving. Oh, here we go. Good heavens, said a rumbly voice. The wolf, the ermine, the squirrel, the hare, and the fox looked up, and they had met Osmo, the bear. What's that you five are holding? It's the farmer, the ermine explained. He fell into the pit that he had digged for us for our forest folk, and serve him right too. Take a bite of him, Osmo, then help us pull. This is resembling less a fairy tale and more like brief tangent. My brother and I would often play games with our stuffed animals that would involve the stuffed animals like each making an appearance in their own like to say something and then like do something specific and then like join a group as a way to sort of like showcase them and their personality for like a second. This feels like that, whereas like each of them are like, I could very easily see this working with like a group of stuffed animals for each of the characters. We would play a game called Crocodile Made Soup for Everyone, which was similar to Stone Soup, the story actually, but we had a puppet crocodile who was named Crocodile, and the plot was always the crocodile was making soup, and then all of the other stuffed animals would bring something to put in the soup, and it, whether or not it made a good soup was not important. We would just have the stuffed animals bring things that they like. So as an example, the panda would bring bamboo, and the whale would bring fish. Sonic would bring chili dogs. So yeah, not a great soup, but it was a chance for all of the characters to like say like a line and then like join the others. So it was sort of like I'm sure there's a term for that where there's like an ensemble cast that like is just giant. Kind of like Cats the musical, where it's the plot of it is more like each of them gets introduced and then like, you know, does a song about it. I'm sure there's a term for that type of story, but that might be what we have here. So yeah, let's find out. So Osmo the bear took a bite and then marched along beside the ermine, the squirrel, the hare, the fox, and the wolf, helping them to pull the sledge. They've got I feel like with the bear, that sledge is doing fine. They don't need any more help pulling the sledge now. Well, they pulled, and whenever they felt tired or hungry, they stopped and took a bite until the farmer was about finished. I'm really enjoying the progression of this farmer just being eaten. Then Pekka the wolf said, "See here, brothers, we've eaten up every bit of the farmer except his beard. What are we going to eat now?" Osmo the bear grunted out. "Huh, that's easy. We'll eat the smallest of us next." He had no sooner spoken than the squirrel ran up a tree and the ermine slipped under a stone. Pekka the wolf said, "But the smallest have escaped." Osmo the bear grunted again. "Huh, And the smallest now is that pop-eyed Jussie. Let's... At the mention of his name, the hare went loping across the field as soon, at a safe distance. Ozma the bear put his heavy paw on the fox's shoulder. Miko, he said, it's your turn now, for you're the smallest of us three. Miko the fox pretended not to be afraid. Oh, that's true, he said. I am the smallest, all right, brothers. I'm ready. But before you eat me, I wish you'd take me to the top of the hill. Down here in the valley, it's so gloomy. Very well, the others agreed. We'll go where you say. It's more cheerful there. As they climbed the hill, the fox whispered to the wolf, Pack up. When you eat me, whose turn will it be then? Who will be the smallest then? Mercy me, the wolf cried. It will be my turn then, won't it? The terror of the thought quite took his appetite away. See here, Ozmo, he said to the bear, I don't think it would be right for us to eat Miko. You and I and Miko ought to be friends and live together in peace. Now, let's take a vote on the matter, and we'll do whatever the majority says. I vote that we three be friends. What do you say, Miko? The fox said that he agreed with the wolf. It would be much better all around if they three were friends. Well, grunted Ozma the bear, it's no use my voting for you two to make a majority. But I must say I'm sorry to have you vote this way, for I'm quite hungry. So the three animals, the bear, the wolf, and the fox, agreed henceforward to be friends, and planned to live near each other in the woods behind the farm. That's quite a nice story, and quite short, too. Certainly nothing as grand as the previous Miko adventure. I wonder if... but the fox was also tricksome, so maybe that was after two. I'm happy to do one more. Let's finish up the Miko tales. So this is Miko the Fox, Adventure 2, The Partners. Picking up where we left off. The bear, the wolf, and the fox made houses quite close together, and the wolf and the fox decided to go into partnership. Oh, they got married. That's cute. The first thing we ought to do, said Pekka the wolf, is make a clearing in the forest and plant some crops. Crops? This is what happens, is the farmer dies, and then suddenly the wolf and the fox start farming. The fox agreed, and the very next day they started out to work. Each had a crock with 3 parts of butter for his dinner. They left their crocks in the cool water of a little spring in the forest, not far from the place where they had decided to make a clearing. It was hard work felling trees, and the fox, soon tiring of it, made some sort of excuse to run off. When he came back, he said to the wolf, Pekka, the folks at the farm are having a christening, and have sent me an invitation to attend. So yeah, I feel like the way that the animals were working with each other last time seemed more like animals, but the fact that the farmer sets snares to catch the animals, but then when one of the animals has a house, they send... Oh, well, although this is a lie, so maybe this is just fox trickery and not actually people inviting Miko to the christening. It's too bad we're so busy day to day, said the wolf. Another day you might have gone. But I must go, the fox insisted. They've been good neighbors to us, and they'd be insulted if I refused. Very well, the wolf said. If you feel that way about it, you better go. But hurry back, for we have a lot to do." So the fox trotted off, but he got no further than the spring where the butter crocks were cooling. He took the wolf's crock and licked off the top layer of butter. Then after a while he went back to the clearing. "Well, Miko," the wolf said, "is the christening over?" "Yes, it's over." "What did they name the child?" "They named it Top." "Top? That's a strange name." In a few moments, the fox ran off and returned with the announcement that there was to be another christening at the farm. And again, they wanted him to attend. "Another christening," the wolf explained. "How can that be? This time the daughter has a baby." Oh, so this is the oh no, it's the they didn't mention a daughter last time. Maybe maybe they were referring to the previous child. I feel like that would be hard for maybe wolves don't know how what the human gestation period is. "You're not going, are you, Miko? You can't always be going to christenings." "That's true, Pekka, that's true," said the fox, "but I think I must go this time." The wolf sighed. "You will hurry back, won't you? This work is too much for me alone." "Yes, Pekka dear," the fox promised. "I'll hurry back as quickly as I can." So he trotted off again to the spring and the wolf's butter crock. This time he ate the middle part of the wolf's butter, then slowly sauntered back to the clearing. I'm sensing a rule of 3. "Well," said the wolf, pausing a moment in his work, "what did they name the baby this time?" "This one they named Middle." "Middle? That's a strange name to give a baby." For a few moments the fox pretended to work hard. Then he ran off again. When he came back he said, "Pekka, do you know they're having another christening at the farm? And they say that I just must come." "Another christening now, Miko? That's too much. How can they be having another christening?" "Well, this time it's the daughter-in-law that has a baby." "I don't care who it is," the wolf said. "You just can't go. You've got some work to do. You have." The fox agreed. You're right, Pekka, you're right. I'm entirely too busy to be running off all the time to christenings. I'd say no in a minute if it wasn't that there are new settlers and they're our nearest neighbors. As it is, I'm afraid they'd think it wasn't neighborly if I didn't come. But I'll hurry back, I promise you." So for the third time, the fox trotted off to the little spring, and this time he licked the wolf's butter crock clean to the bottom. Then he went slowly back to the clearing and told the wolf about the christening and the baby. "They've named this one Bottom," he said. "Bottom," the wolf echoed. "What funny names they give children nowadays." The fox pretended to work hard for a few minutes, then threw himself down exhausted. "Hey ho," he said with a yawn. "I'm so tired and hungry it must be dinner time." The wolf looked at the sun and said, "Yes, I think we had better rest now and eat." So they went to the spring and got their butter crocks. The wolf found that his had already been licked clean. "Miko," he cried, "have you been at my butter?" "Me?" the fox said in a tone of great innocence. "How could I have been at your butter when you know perfectly well that I've been working right beside you all morning, except when I was away at the christenings? You must have eaten up all your butter yourself." "Of course I haven't eaten it up myself," the wolf declared. "I just bet anything you took it." The fox pretended to be much aggrieved. "Pekka, I won't have you saying such a thing. We must get at the bottom of this. I tell you what we'll do. We'll both lie down in the sun, and the heat of the sun will melt the butter and make it run. Now then, if butter runs out of my nose, then I'm the one who has eaten your butter. If it runs out of your nose, then you've eaten it yourself. Do you agree to this test?" The wolf said yes, he agreed, and at once lay down in the sun. He had been working so hard that he was very tired, and in a few moments he was sound asleep. Thereupon the fox slipped over and daubed a little lump of butter on the end of his nose. The sun melted the butter, and then, of course, it looked as if it were running out of the wolf's nose. "Wake up, Pekka, wake up," the fox cried. "There's butter running out of your nose." The wolf awoke and felt his nose with his tongue. "Why, Miko," he said in surprise, "so there is. Well, I suppose I must have eaten that butter myself. But I give you my word for it, I don't remember doing it." "Well," said the fox, pretending still to be hurt, "you shouldn't always suspect me." When they went back to the clearing, the wolf began pulling the brush together to burn it all up, and the fox slipped away and lay down behind some bushes. "Miko, Miko," the wolf called, "aren't you going to help me burn the brush?" "You set it afire," the fox called back, "and I'll stay here to guard it against any flying sparks. We don't want to burn down the whole forest." So the wolf burned up all the brush while the fox took a pleasant nap. Then he was ready to plant the seed in the rich wood ashes. The wolf again called out to the fox to come help him. You do the planting, Pekka," the fox called back, "and I'll stay here to frighten off the birds. If they don't come and pick up every seed you plant. Or, if I don't, they'll come and pick up every seed you plant." So Miko, the rascal, took another nap while the poor wolf planted the field he had already cleared and burned. And that's the end. I feel more sorry for the wolf this time. And the bear seems to have gotten away with it. I feel like the wolf is really the most gullible in all of this. It's interesting sort of seeing those two together with the one with the human Miko, mighty Miko, as opposed to Miko the fox. So that is interesting. I quite liked those. Those were good. Let me turn up our music again. But yeah. We're gonna take a brief intermission. And then I'm gonna set up my drawing stuff. Let me. All right, be right back. Drawing in a second. That's brief break. Go his girl. Alright. We're back. It's a much better format of let me put I'm gonna give a little preview of is there like a I think there is like a view mode. Alright, and then let me put we'll put a little script reference up here. There we go. All right, so last page, page 29. I should just pull up page 29 too. While we're here, might as well. Oh wait, did I finish it on stream? No, I didn't. Because I did like 2 panels on stream on Friday. This is page 29. OBS loves when I fill it up with pages and new elements. I should delete. This is why I feel iffy about adding like reference image ones, because I'm just gonna like leave them. I'm like, what if I need them again in the future? Alright, so last time Nat had sort of stepped in to stop Rookie Braithwaite from like harassing him about the security footage. And ooh, that's a funky looking. Is that in the? I'm noticing there's like a chunk of empty space in panel 1, right on the edge. It's like hard to see because I think it's like a pixel wide. I might need to look into that. Anyways, no, not anyways. I need to fix that now. Or not, I'm not gonna fix it now. I'm gonna make a note about it now, so I don't forget. As soon as I remember where I put my edits document. Oh, it's having a lot of trouble with that. Let me just make a note about it because I'm not able to. I like tried to open Google Docs and it was like shitting itself. The multi-cameras might be a lot for it to. Chapter 30, page 29, panel 1. Missing pixels of gray in back eye side of. Okay. Noted. Okay. So Nat is speaking with the root keeper. She said in the previous page that she's happy to see him and that everyone here is lucky that he came so fast and in person, sort of prompting him to respond to yes, well, it's because the magic surge was so large. She says she is curious as to why there are machines that can cast magic. Thwaite says, well, yeah, we're taking them in for analysis, and you and your we trust you and the gang that you run with are not going to talk about it. And she says, of course we won't, and offers to send Inspector Jalen, who we haven't met yet, an account of events, which he then says, oh yes, of course, that would be great. Much better than some spotty security records. So now Root is like, okay, I don't have to worry about him taking my shit anymore, which we love. So Root is good. At the very end of it, Ripley is sending him a message saying, all chill. So let me remove some of our reference art here. I'm suspicious some of this crunchiness is just because of general internet stuff that might go away later in a second. Let me just real quick. I want to see if this is still happening on the other side. Oh yeah, I can hear my voice doing that too. I don't like that. That's really annoying. Okay. Well... Now it's like Spotify is lagging. let me see. This doesn't need to be a high-tech stream. I'm gonna close some stuff. Okay, that's a little better. So, okay, where we are now, Ripley has just confirmed, Root, you're cool now. So now we have, this page has 4 panels. We've got 2 that I just sketched like right before stream today. Balance this. So here, Ripley is looking at the messages that were back on the roof. Root responded, "Yeah, thank your witch friend." So, and then we still see her message from last time because it keeps like a log in chat. And then in the background, Arlen and Kayla are arguing about the poster that they made for the group. We don't see them at the moment. We just see the off-panel voice saying like, "Well, how would you make it?" That's Kayla talking. Get my ears here. I'm pretty sure I've shown this on stream before, but I use a clutch pencil to do my sketches. I sharpen it with a bit of sandpaper and a cloth to catch all the dust. One second. That's like the second ambulance that's gone by today while I've been recording, which is silly. So yeah, first panel. Second panel, you belong here. Oh my god. Second panel, Ripley is sort of, relaxedly, she sort of hops up on the little ledge wall thing on the roof, and looks out over at the city. There's like a small section right here that you can actually see the stars through. Most of it's buildings and lights that go out over here. This is Arlen talking now. He says like, magic, mystery, muscle, large spinny coven, and contact info. I'm doing well with brand recognition. A character has said the name Large Spinny once every chapter. Oh no, Thorn said it like a second time in chapter 2. Exciting. All right, so we're. All right, we're gonna do. Move so I can. Okay, perfect. Bottom left. This is panel 3. We. Ripley takes in the sight. Kayla and Arlen lean against the wall. Oh, that's not helpful. Hold on. Right. I'm gonna have to draw it like this because my pad thing keeps on messing with my script. Okay, so Ripley takes in the sight. Kayla and Arlen lean against the wall. Kayla says, "You just like matchy letters." Oh, and then Nat is gonna be speaking off panel. So yeah, Ripley is gonna be like over here. Let me make that lower actually. I want Ripley to be like right here. It's not, the pose isn't quite right. I want it to be like, I think I need to draw the entire construction drawing for it to make sense here. Boots are too big there. Feet are like pointed down. Let me just get the, like that. It's even a little bit too long, I think. Feels right. And then his turn to the side. Or like that. Yeah. I need to, this crunchy music is really starting to bug me. We can see if YouTube's better. Although give me 1 second. I'll keep drawing while that comes up. We love some deafening silence. Cool. Okay. I like that better. And then we'll draw this sort of like platform. The little like bits that come up and support this like wall thing on the roof. I can think so much clearer now that the crunchy music is gone. Let's see if we can replace it with something better. Let's see how this sounds. Sharpen this one. Here, so you can see. Oh, it's far away. That's funny. There you go. But still incredibly crunchy. Ooh, let me pull up my... Oh, that's definitely gonna be... Alright, how's that look? Sharper, yeah. I'm coming to the end of this bit of graphite. I use this one. I thought first I thought I used the one that I was doing, the comics weekly. I remember using a stick like really fast. I feel like I used it even faster this year, even though I'm not doing them as fast as I used to. I think I am sharpening it more. Alright, how's that sound? That doesn't... yeah, that's a little bit better. I think... let me try pulling up Spotify again, and I'll just keep the volume really low. I can hear the rain getting crunchy. Okay, so Arlen's gonna be. Did the rain die? Oh. Alright. Arlen is standing over here. Ripley's looking out over the edge. There's actually more space than that. This should be. Yeah, I don't like the rain doesn't make it better if they're both crunchy. We're gonna have the music, but just I think I'm gonna turn it down. The fact that it's like nothing about the stream seems to be giving me any issues. It's like literally just my computer that's like shooting itself. Oh, here's my. Okay. Back to Arlen. Arlen, standing here. He is sort of. He's like pleased with himself. He doesn't get his jacket back. they'll go back down. He doesn't have his jacket. I think he should be like, he's like proud of himself, so he's like standing like this. Alright. So yeah, he's sort of... And then Kayla is like leaning in and looking up. I want to give like a little raised eyebrow. And she's sort of gonna put her arms out. Let me get her body right first. She's sort of like leaning forward. Oh, but she's not that tall. It should be, yeah, that should be fine. Oh, too long. Drawing someone in like a slightly different pose is always tricky because you forget about stuff that should be foreshortened. Elbow, hand, like that. The little smokestack things. And then there's like pebbles and stuff on the ground. Oh, I think there's another one of these like roof support things here. I need to double check it with the other one. And then this will actually be oh, I also forgot, this should have, panel 1 should have a bit more from Root. He's supposed to say, they're heading out. Let me specifically say rook's heading at. Although he might not want to message someone that. I'll just say there. Okay, back to panel 3. Okay, I was saying you just like matchy letters. Yes. Alliterativeness. And then off panel, mask. And then these are the buildings here should go. They're not like, you can't see the street from this angle, but you can see the like buildings next to it. Shit, I closed all of my reference pictures because I was annoyed about. It should be fine. Let me just. We have these, and then we've got something over here. Okay, I like how that looks as a 3D version of that building. There should be like do a few more lower ones that wouldn't have shown up yet. I want to do like a weird, like, horseshoe shaped building. Get some more alternative shapes in here. I want it to sort of like close up reflect like a wide looking skyline, and not just like, I feel like we have a lot of I get a lot of inspiration from like Chicago skyline stuff because like I live here, but which I definitely want to come across in some ways, you know, but I think like new and sort of like alternative ways of cities looking is cool in all types of sci-fi. So taking inspiration from like other types of things, I think will help us here. Oh right, Arlen's wearing a tie. I forgot. And he has stripies on his shirt. Okay. And then Nat stands in the door, waving and holding her anisopter, which we haven't seen before. Okay, this is it. This is our chance to make Nat look cool as fuck. Quick, think of all the cool skateboard poses you can. It's funny how rare it is to find this might not actually be true. I feel like I personally have a hard time finding reference art of someone carrying a skateboard in like a chill way. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right places. Okay, I think I have something. We might have to adjust this based on how much space we end up giving ourselves. We definitely want like a contrapposto situation. Very slightly. Gonna do that by, I guess that's not slightly. So yeah, we want the spine to sort of curve like that. The shoulders and the hips are sort of making this angle here. Oh, you can't really, there we go. Like that. I think I need to make her head bigger. Like that. Okay. And then this leg should be foreshortened more. Because it's going. Made her torso too long. We could fix that like that. Okay. And then, so she's got like and a softer under her elbow should go higher. Elbow is like right at the bottom of the ribs. Like that. And then so unlike Ripley's, which looks more like a broom, Nat's anisopter looks like a skateboard. But it still flies. That should be foreshortened. What does Nat's outfit look like? It's in chapter 2. There we go. Page 16. Oh, and she's literally doing almost the same pose. That's funny. Except now she has a skateboard. Wait, shit, does her dress not have a belt thing? Fuck. I could have sworn it had a belt thing. And I absolutely drew it that way, and fuck. Okay. Now I have to figure out when I started doing the belt thing. I'm pretty sure I did it for most of chapter 3. Everyone else has a belt. No, it's just the... Okay. It's just the, like, seam thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, there it is. Chapter 3, page 5 is when I started doing it that way. Shit. Sucks. This should be pretty easy. I can just remove one of the border lines on the like black part, because I'll keep the like top. The top of it has like a, here if you can see this, what I did was I drew like 2 things here. I drew 2 lines. I just need one to be the sort of like seam, and like make it part of that. Okay. And then she's got these like sleeves. I really like her outfit. So it's a bummer that I fucked it up. I didn't fuck it up. I just made it look slightly different for one panel, or for most of a chapter. And then we'll have the door like right here. And then she's waving. Like that. And oh wait, no, I need one more time. There it is. Not quite. I feel like literally every character's hair I like start out with like a original design and then I go through like a weird, like I can't really quite get it like that, and then I settle in on something that's more doable. There we go. Is there not a door for this door? Ah, shit. Oh, here it is. It's like white with gray. Shading on the inside border. We'll say it's like here. And there's this like stair rail that has straight. Yeah, I don't think those are curved. Supports into the wall with rectangular. Jeez, I was never gonna get this right if I did it in one go. There is a like a HVAC duct and I'll put like another conduit or something up there for something. And then there's like these large brick like patterns. Oh, and then the sides of the wall. There's like there should be like a little like door threshold before it turns into like roof gravel. And this is dark gray. I don't think it, oh no, I did put up and down textures on it. And then yeah. Awesome. That looks cool. I don't know, she looks kind of large in this picture. I might make her smaller, we'll see. I was intentionally trying to draw it so the door goes a lot higher than her, because the door should be way higher than everyone here, because they're all just like medium-sized people, and there are people that are like 8 feet tall, walking around. So I'm pretty happy with this sketch. This looks pretty cool so far. I'm gonna put it into the computer and we'll start inking it this week. We'll see if we can finish we'll definitely be inking it next stream, which is going to be on Wednesday, the 8th. Should be during the day, I think, because I'm gonna go to a drawing event that night, so no late night. Sunday is my late night day, and we'll shoot for daytime Wednesday. I'm still hearing the crunchies. Honestly, if I weren't hearing the crunchiness, I would probably be down for just like keep going and switch on over to the inking, but I don't think I have it in me to to like keep going when it's like this. I'm gonna make sure that I just check like sound and internet connection before next time I power up. But yeah, anyone who is watching the VOD, or anyone that briefly stopped in, thank you very much for poking your head in. I know that sound was not fantastic today. But yeah, we got to see some sketch, which is pretty rare. If I get a better solution than this thing, I will. It's just my phone on a tripod. If I could get like an arm, like a boom mic type situation, I could see that being a little bit easier for recording sketches. But yeah, so that it's kind of a rare occurrence. So I hope you enjoyed it. I liked our Graybles today. I'm gonna try and do more of those. And I started playing Sekiro. I still need to finish Elden Ring DLC, but Sekiro seemed really cool. I always heard people talk about how it's like very hard in like a very specific way. If you've been around for a while, you know that I'm a Souls-like fan, but I'm not like super good at them. The first time I felt like I was actually good at one was Elden Ring, and I feel like part of that was due to the fact that I was able to play it the way that I wanted, which was magic, and then eventually magic sword, with magic and sword, which I still have it set up. I think I was waiting for one of the mods that I play with to be updated for the DLC, and then I got distracted by other shit. So I got Sekiro. My brother got it for me for Christmas, and it is awesome. It's awesome. It's like this is hard to, I feel like Elden Ring is really good. Elden Ring is probably my favorite FromSoft game, but like Sekiro is really close. And it's possible that I might like it even more by the time I finish it. It is 100% like you play a character that has like a character and a voice. And it's all the same FromSoft stuff. Like the way that death works. Even like if you've played a FromSoft game, you know how the motion feels similar in a lot of ways. But their version of campfires / graces has like a story reason for being there. The way that you come back to life has like a very in-depth story reason. It just feels really well thought out, and it's like a very different aim than like a lot of the FromSoft games, and it feels like the stakes are definitely lower. At least at the beginning of the game. It's possible they might change later. I've already seen evidence that it's not just like feudal Japan. There is like fantasy shit happening. Certainly there's more. It's possible we might end up fighting God at the end, as one is wont to do. But yeah, I just really like it so far. It's really tight. It feels like if someone made a like Assassin's Creed-esque, if they were like, they looked at Assassin's Creed FromSoft and were like, we can do that better with Samurai. The fighting feels very tight. The stealth feels way better than it does in any other FromSoft game. I had heard a lot about, like, you need to learn to parry in order to, like, progress in the game, and that is true, but it sounds more daunting than it ends up being in Sekiro. Where, like, the game is pretty good about, like, teaching you how to use all of the tools. There's a character that will, like, practice fight with you. There's, like, another guy that is also immortal, who's like, us two immortals can fight together, and, like, you know, practice moves. And the progression is slower, and it still has the, like, increase your stats type thing, but it doesn't have the, like, minuscule. It's just like, after getting this number of, like, story rewards, put your upgrade item in and you get more attack and damage, is basically that. But alternatively, there are, like, specific skills that actually change, like, what you do, and that's sort of how you build your playthrough, which, like, having the different skills is awesome. And the progression feels really cool. It gives you this sense of, like when, as you're sort of, like, leveling up and learning new things, you're sort of like, oh, how do I incorporate this into how it's going? And there's, like, specific ones that you need in order to, like, make certain fights specifically, like, easier. So I would recommend playing with some sort of guide as far as, like, what you should be getting at what stage. But that's how I usually play FromSoft games anyway. Oh, you also have a grappling hook, which traversal in the game is, like, incredibly fun. It's not open world. It's closer to, like, a Dark Souls, but just, like, moving around the different maps, when you're not fast traveling, which, like, it's pretty convenient, but like, traversing stuff and some of the combat arenas just, like, feels really nice to run around in. So yeah, A+. The only reason I hadn't played it yet is because it was exclusive to PlayStation. So it's one of the ones that I, like, always wanted to check out. And now I'm like, absolutely, I've gotten exactly what I wanted, and it was as good as I expected, if not more. So we might be playing some Sekiro at some point in the future, on the stream. That would be really fun. Maybe I could do, like, like a new run or something, if it's a story game. Not that there's, like, people that'll be here for the beginning, but, you know, it would be fun to see. There's some cool fights. Oh, you can also, there's, like, a replay fight thing for some of the more iconic bosses, which would be nice for streaming. What else? Oh, I've been talking about just, like, the events that I've been going to. I don't have any plans for like, I'm not scheduled for any events in 2024, but I've applied to 2 events in 2024 already. One of them is significantly larger than events I've been to in the past, so fingers crossed. But we will see. Yeah, I'm hoping to hear that is cool. yeah, I'll keep the channel updated about stuff in the future, and that is everything. I'm nothing specifically for January, just like chill working on stuff. So we're gonna keep drawing. We're gonna keep chilling. Stay warm, and I will see you on Wednesday. We're gonna shoot for like 11ish on Wednesday. So yeah, thanks again for stopping by. Bye. Bye.